And another thing, as we said before, when a young man asked Imam al-Ghazali, tell me how to do Qiyam al-Layl, he told him, son, what do you do? What's your job? So the young Muslim says, what difference does it make? I just want to know how to do Qiyam al-Layl, getting up at night to worship Allah. He told him, I'll tell you what the difference is. If you're a pharmacist, I'll tell you to work to find medicine and help sick Muslims. If you're a doctor, I'll tell you to spend your time at night helping sick Muslims, to cure Muslims. If you're an engineer, I'll tell you to design things and do things. And at the end of the night, yes, you pray 2 raqas, which is رَقَعَتَيْنِ فِي جَوْفِ اللَّيْلِ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا. 2 raqas in the middle of the night is better than what's in everything, الدنيا وما فيها. That's Qiyam al-Layl. Sheikh al-Ghazali wanted to teach us what does Qiyam al-Layl mean. Rather than what they tell us is stay up all night. And of course, if we're up all night, how could we go to work in the morning? You're up all night, and then you pray al-Fajr, and then they tell us that after you pray al-Fajr, it's good to stay in the masjid till the sunrise. So you're up praying, you stay till sunrise. Who among us could after this go to work and produce? We have to think. And yet that's what they made us, is to think Islam is up all night, staying in the masjid for an hour and a half. But one thing I've analyzed, the hadith is sahih to stay after al-Fajr till sunrise. But they also tell us that Rasulullah used to delay al-Fajr close to sunrise. So it's only about 15-20 minutes. It's not the hour or an hour and a half that they tell us to do nowadays. Yes, stay 15 minutes after you pray al-Fajr to worship Allah. And then Rasulullah told us that the most blessed hours of the day is these hours after you leave al-masjid and after you pray al-Fajr, go and work for an hour or 2. SubhanAllah. But it's not what they've painted. And that's what we have to understand. And that's why the famous story we know, when Imam al-Shafi'i went to visit Imam Abu Hanifa, and yes, they were all, Malik was a teacher of al-Shafi'i, and al-Shafi'i was a teacher of Abu Hanifa. And as we said before, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal was a student of al-Shafi'i, al-Shafi'i was a student of Malik. And Ahmad ibn Hanbal used to pray for Imam al-Shafi'i for 40 years. And the son of Ahmad ibn Hanbal said, I got jealous. Why does my father pray for this man? He values this man so much, he prays for him for 40 years, subhanAllah, to provide, because he was his teacher. So Imam al-Shafi'i went to visit Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal in his home. And the next day, he spent the night there, and the next day the daughter of Imam Ahmad had a question. Father, you said this is a great man. I noticed a few things. It wasn't how he's dressed in old fashion or what music he listens. That wasn't the questions of the daughter. What were the 3 questions the daughter have about Imam al-Shafi'i? The first question, she said, I noticed he eat a lot. The second question, I noticed he didn't get up at night to pray. The third question is, I noticed he didn't ask for water to do wudu after he woke up. SubhanAllah, valid questions. He ate a lot, he didn't get up to do Qiyam al-Layl, and he didn't ask for water to do wudu in the morning, to pray al-Fajr. SubhanAllah. So Imam Ahmad asks Imam al-Shafi'i, why? So Imam al-Shafi'i tells us 3 things. As for the food, I heard the Rasulullah saying the food of good people is a cure, medicine, so I ate a lot because I know you're a good person, so I ate a lot in your house as a cure. The number 2, why didn't he get up to do Qiyam al-Layl? He said, all night I was up while laying down trying to figure issues for the Muslims. You know, Imam al-Shafi'i is one of the mazhabs, so he's discussing with himself some of the issues. What should we do here? What should we do here? Just like Sheikh al-Ghazali said, if you're an engineer, you work on your engineering. The doctor works for the sake of Muslims. He is a sheikh, so while laying down, he's thinking what could benefit the Muslims and questions of the Muslims. As for not asking for water, he said, well, I didn't sleep or wink all night trying to resolve all these issues for Muslims, so I didn't need to do SubhanAllah. But again, getting up, he didn't feel that he had to leave this dunya and get up to worship Allah. 2 rak'ahs in the middle of the night is all we need. And we have to be part of this life, and we have to do things.